So hello friends, welcome back, and in this video we are going to see all paths from source to target problem. So in this, first of all, the interviewer will, and if you don't know that we solve the lead code problems as if they are the interview style problems. So without further ado, let's start. So the interview will first of all explain the problem statement that we have a directed acyclic graph of n nodes and we have to find all possible paths from node 0 to node n minus 1 and return them in any order. So he will say that the node 0 is connected to node 1 and 2, the node 1 is to node 3, node 2 is to node 3, and the last node is like it's for itself. So I have to return the path possible. So in this case the paths are 0, 1, 3 and 0, 2, 3. Now I might ask one question to him, sir, is it always necessary that the last node, which means the n minus 1 node, is it empty? I mean, like it might happen that you might have some other node as well here, but you are not allowed to recommend it, or you are not allowed to go further. But it might happen that you are having a node here, so he will say, no, Aryan, it is fine that it is empty. Okay, so now that he's explaining the question, and if I am not understood with the problem, I will ask another problem as well. So uh, but I am okay with the problem, so I will explain my approach now to him. So the first approach which strikes my mind is that I can either use BFS or DFS, because I know that the node starting is node from 0. So what I will do is, see, for to explain the interviewer I will explain him here, but to explain you guys, I will explain you on the whiteboard. So see, either I can use BFS or either I can use DFS. So first of all, let's check the DFS version. Okay, so I have this node 0. I want this to be printed like all the paths. So I need to print 0, 1, 3. I need to print 0, 2, 3. Very fine. So in DFS, the basic thing which we should know that it uses a recursion, which means that it uses a call stack, which means that it stores the previous version. So sir, as I know that our recursion stores the previous version, so what I will do is, in my recursive stack, as I will have a call from 0. Okay, I will have a DFS call from 0. So in my vector I will push this 0 in my vector, then I will have its call to either 1 or 2. So I will have a DFS to 1 and DFS to 2, because these are its child. But as we know that these are stored in a stack and only one will iterate, so I will store 1 here and I will go on further. So for 1 I will go on further to its child, which is 3. So 3 will be stored. So 3 will be stored. Now I will say that as I can clearly see that my 0, 1, 3. Now as I know that I have reached the end, so I will have my final vector of vector as answer, and I will push this whole vector in my answer. So I will push back v in my answer. Now when I clearly know that the next thing which I wanted is to have the remaining childs of 1. So okay, first of all, when I will return back from 3, I don't want 3 anymore here. So what I will do, sir, I will pop it out back, which means 3 is now lost. Very fine. Now I will reach back to 1. 1 has no more childs left because it has only one child which is already iterated. So yeah, it is also made. So I will also pop it back. Then I am on 0. 0 had its one child which is already I have visited. The next thing which is 2. So if this is the next thing, so I will go on and I will attach 2 to it. Then I will iterate on to the DFS of 2. So I will have make a DFS call to 3. Then I will attach 3. Now as I can see that I have reached the end, so I will push back this again in my answer. So at last my answer will be having 0, 1 and 3, and I will also have 0, 2 and 3. Now when I was solving this problem, so yeah, I solved the problem, but I was not sure about the space and time complexities of this. So I searched on YouTube, I searched on Google, I searched on LeetCode as well. So the basic thing, first of all, I found in many people's code that yeah, I would like to say that only one person was there who explained the space and the time complexities, and I should say that he was also not exactly right about that. Like his space thing was wrong. So I would like to focus on that also later. But so the one thing which strikes my mind is that the people have used the visited part in this problem. So see, when you have a undirected graph, which means that you are moving like this. Okay, so visited is only used when you want to know that you might not visit its parent. You might not visit its parent. So visited is only used so that you might not visit its parent. But if you run a loop for auto I in, suppose, the, let's say it's a graph of node, then if my auto I, if it has been iterated particular further, so it will not reverse back, which means that if I have this DFS of 0 in my function stack, in my call stack, and if I have the DFS of 1 and if I have a DFS of 2, so when I will reverse back from that 1, then again this DFS of 1 will not be called, but it will be have its DFS called to DFS of 2. But if I had it's another node, which means DFS of -1, although I would like to say that it's an undirected graph, but still, if sorry, it is a directed graph, but if it had been an undirected graph, so you must know one thing, that the visited part is not to store that how many I have occurred up till now, but to make sure that first of all, if I had its iteration from other person, I will not iterate on it back, and secondly, to not go its to its parent. Okay, so yeah, I would like to I would like to focus on this part, that you don't have to use visited thing. Okay, it will work very fine if you don't use visited as well, but if you still want to use visited, then I will recommend to mark my visited as false also, like after making it true. Now okay, so we have saw the approach. Now the part which is remaining is that, okay, I will solve this problem, but what is the space and time complexity of this problem? So first of all, to analyze this, we should know what are the number of paths. Okay, so to analyze this number of paths, I would like to say that I have nodes 0, 1, 2 and 3. So number of paths, which means that in one path I can arrange these nodes as like this. Okay, if I can arrange these nodes like this, so see what will happen. uh, in one path I can arrange like this. In another path, what I can do is I can arrange, see, I have the starting and ending as fixed. I can insert the nodes, either I will insert it or I will not insert it. So first chance I will not insert it. The third path, I insert the node 1 only. Okay, the fourth path, I will insert only 2. The fifth path, here I used inserted 1 and 2 both. Now you might ask that, Arun, why not you inserted 2 and 3? So I will insert, okay, 2 and 3. But as you can clearly see that it is not possible that these two are in the answer, like the first and the fifth part are always in the answer. Why? See, for to answer why, if you have this 0, 1, 2, 3, okay, so if you have a path from 0 to 1 to 2, which means you have a path like this, but to have a path from 0 to 2 to 1, so you should have a path like this, so it will make a cycle. So you have to understand that it is a topological order which I represented here, which means the initial path. For example, that if I have something like this, so I will represent it like this: 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, what in my hand is that I have the starting and the ending node as fixed. The option in my hand is either I will choose to have this node, like either I will choose it or I will not choose it. I will choose it, I will not choose it. So, number of options to choose these nodes will be 2 raised to power n minus 2. So, number of paths will be O of 2, sorry, let's take O in the last, so it will be 2 raised by n minus 2. So to make it whole, let's take it as 2 raised power n. So these are the number of paths possible, but now you might clearly see that for every path, for let me scroll it, yeah, let me add it here. So for every path, what you will do, suppose you have a path, let's say I have a path of 0, 1, 3. So when you have this path, you will insert this whole in your vector answer. So you have to insert this whole path of length n in your answer, and you have to do this for every path, which means the number of paths are 2 raised power n, and for every path you have to insert it in your vector answer, and it's a linear insertion, which means O of n insertion. So let me scroll it, yeah, so the time complexity will be O of n into 2 raised power n. See, I am again saying that it might be very like hard for you to understand this, but see, I should also say that I have found the first problem which has like so much to think, to analyze that space and that time complexity. So yeah, it's a very big deal to understand it. So it will be basically good if you will understand that. Now, working on its space complexity, so for the space complexity, that what I need is that, see, I know one thing, that my number of paths are 2 raised power n, and for every path I will have a vector, and I will insert that vector in my OD vector. Okay, so I will insert this in here. Next, I will insert this in here. Next, I will insert in this here. So what I have is, for every path I will have my vector, so it will be into O of sorry, so for every path, okay, so what is not working, yeah, so for every path, which means these are the paths, I will store the length n, which means this, so it represents the size of this final 2D vector answer which I need to return. So its space would be also O of n into 2 raised power n. Now, okay, I have make you understand the DFS part. So first of all, I will write its code, and after that, you know the space and the time complexities. But for those who still want to understand the BFS part and you want to know that why I not solve the BFS part, you can watch the video still further. Now, for BFS part, I would like to say that space would be O of n into 2 raised power n, but its time complexity, it would be O of n square into 2 raised power n. So yeah, for those who also want to understand the part this, uh, for those people can wait for the further video. But for those who are like they only wanted the solution and they only wanted the space in the time complexity, the optimal one. So yeah, I'm writing the code for them. So to write the code, first of all, see, I know that what I will have. So first of all, I will have a vector as answer. So let me have that global, that I will have a vector of basically int. It's my answer which will store my final answer which I need to return. But I will also have a vector, which means I will basically, as I said, that for every path I will insert my answer in this vector. And when my path is whole, like I reach the node n minus 1, so I will insert it back to my answer. So now, first of all, as we know that for LeetCode, we should clear, because they might use it again. So it is always recommended to clear the code, like the arrays or vectors. Now what I will do is I will run a DFS. Now starting from what node? Starting from node 0. And I might also need the help of this graph. So I will pass this graph as my one thing. Now when I am made, so I will return my answer because my answer will store the final answer. Now I will write my DFS function. So in my DFS function, the first thing I wanted is my node. The second thing I wanted is this graph. So let me copy this graph. So yeah, now my graph is copied. Now the very first thing which strikes everyone's mind is that if I entered a node 0 initially in the starting, so I will push that node in my vector as at vector v. I will push that node. Okay, very fine. Then as usual, what we do, we iterate on its child of this node. Then I will iterate on its child. Okay, very fine. And as I have said that we don't need visited here. Okay, so I will just have a DFS call to its child. Very fine. Now when I will have its DFS call, so see what will happen. Initially it is 0, so it will move here. Then it will have a DFS call to 1. Then when it will reach DFS of 1, so it will have a DFS call to 3. Now when I know that I have reached 3, so I have to handle this case, because at the stage this I have my vector as this, and I need to store this vector in my answer vector. So what I will do is I will check if my graph of the particular node, in this case it is 3, so this graph of node represents 3. Okay, so sorry, the node is 3 and this graph of nodes represent this empty array as I showed you here. So if its size is 0, okay, it means that the node is the last node which I wanted. So I will just push back in my final answer, but and as I know that it is the last node, so I will just return from here. Now I will return back to 1, but as you can clearly see that what I wanted was, I don't want this 3, so I need to erase it. So when I'm returning back, So so when we return back the code which we write while returning back, we write it below the function, which means that if I have this recursive function, so when I'm moving from up to when I'm moving from up to autumn, so I will write my code above this dfs function. But when I am moving from autumn to up, like from below to up, so whatsoever I want, I will write its function below it. So I will write it here, v dot pop back, which means that I not wanted this 3 here. Okay, I only wanted this particular element while I'm returning back to dfs of 1. Yeah, that's all. So I hope that it should run. So let us run this, and yeah, output is right, and let's submit our answer. So yeah, it is accepted. So let me check how much time. So it is 21 minutes. I guess it has been a lot. So see, for those who still wanted to understand the BFS one, so see, it is very simple that in BFS, rather than having the help of this recursive stack, see, in DFS we knew that after 0 we had 1, we had 3, but in BFS we have to store 0 1, we have to store 0 2, and for the 0 1 I will go on further, I will store 0 1 3, then I will store 0 1, sorry, 0 2 3. So although I'm not explaining it because DFS 1 is better, but for those, they can search on YouTube as well. uh, there's a person who have explained the same problem while doing BFS, and he have also explained the space and the uh, time things. And but I should say that he has missed this n part in its space, and I should say that I am right in this part because see, the number of paths are this, and every path length it can maximum go up to n. So in answer vector itself, its size might go up to this O of n into 2 raised power n. So yeah, that's all for this video, and I hope that you guys have understood it. Although the video have become very long, but I have actually put my brain for 1 hour to understand this whole thing out, because many people have explained that okay, it's a path and it's like this, but why it is a path and why it works like this and why its space is like 2 into n, like in raised to power n into n, and why not n square or anything else. So for the part this I have to basically explain it so much. So if you like this part, then please don't forget to hit the like button. And I would also like to say that in the last video the response was pretty good, because in actual videos I usually get like around 50 likes for a particular, like 800 views, but in the particular video itself, LeetCode video, the views were only 250 and the likes were around 40, I guess, or like around like 8 less. So yeah, it was great thing to know. And yeah, that's all. So see you guys in the next video. Bye.